I knew nothing. I knew nothing about these. Okay, I had no prior knowledge of the product. I had no placebo effect because I knew nothing. Okay, just so you know where I was coming from. So I just leaned. He went home, and I just lay my head on the table for a while, and I thought, well, socks. I actually have a sock collection. I like socks because my feet are always cold, like freezing cold. I have Raynaud's phenomenon, with my family history on both sides with autoimmune problems, like badly. People on one side down the generations have lost their appendages because of one of the autoimmune problems that run in the family, and I've shown signs of some of those problems, but have not been diagnosed with anything specific except for Raynaud's, like showing signs of some of these problems. So I thought, hey, socks. I do like socks, and I had some of my big fuzzy socks on. So I took those off, and it took me a while to get these other socks on because I just didn't even feel good enough to be putting socks on, but I did. And I leaned my head back down, and I just lay on the table with my head on the table for a while, and I kind of opened my eyes again a while later, and not very much later, and I saw some paperwork to fill out, and I thought, oh, might as well fill out some paperwork. I mean, he gave me money to sign up for something, and maybe I can get some more socks because I like socks, And I thought, my favorite pen is in my bedroom. I'm gonna go get it and fill this out. And I got up and went to my bedroom and back and started filling out the paperwork. I sat down, and then I realized I just walked to my bedroom and back. I didn't lurch, guys. I walked to the bedroom and back, and wasn't fainty. I wasn't lurching to the right. I just did it without thinking. Like, it was natural for me to walk to the bedroom and back. So I stood up, and I was like, what just happened? Like, for real. I still think back to that moment. It's been over a year, and I still get this almost like a punch in the stomach excitement because I hadn't walked without thinking about walking and trying to walk straight and seeing if I could do it, and thinking so consciously about trying to walk and look normal while walking for so long. And then I just did this without considering it. And it was like, what did I just do? Like, how did this just happen? So I did it again, walked to the bedroom and back, and that was the most I had walked, like the most steps I had done in a day, probably. I don't know for how long. Like, I used to crawl around my house. Okay. I used to crawl around my house just to get to where I needed to go. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. Everything's good. Look where I am now. I'm doing so good. This is unbelievable. Okay, this is exciting. Okay, so I went and got my pen, I'm writing, and I'm just like, oh, like, what is happening? Like, I could just tell there was stuff happening, and I couldn't believe I just walked in. I'm starting to feel like I had something going on so much that I could feel this energy coming, and my husband was downstairs, and I called out to him. I had a voice that was strong enough to call down. I was like, honey, these socks, I just walked. Like, these socks are doing something. Like, there's something. There's these socks, they're doing something. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yes, you've got to try these socks. He's like, but I'm healthy. I'm like, try these socks on, seriously. And he just kind of, what? And I chucked a pair down the stairs to him. And then I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden he runs up and down and up, back up the stairs. And he doesn't do that normally. Like, he is running around when he's at work, but at home he kind of conserves energy for when he's at work, okay? So, but now he ran up and down and up, back up the stairs, and he says, I feel good. And I was just like, whoa, okay, that was so weird, because I thought he felt good already, okay? But then he runs back down and then back up the stairs, and then he says, is it the socks? Can't be the socks. Could it be the socks? And then he just grabs my hands, and then he's like, your hands, they're warm. And I was like, what? Because I had these liners socks. They're almost like, they're so thin, these white liners on my feet. And he felt my hands, and they were warm. How could my hands be warm for the first time in I don't know how many years? Like, seriously, people used my hands and feet like air conditioners in the summertime at the beach. Everyone's hot and sweltering. They'd come like cool off on my hands and feet because they would just stayed cold all the time. They were like dangerously cold, lack of circulation, okay? So my hands warmed up from socks on my feet. I'm not telling everybody this is what's gonna happen to you when you try these, but I am not kidding you. I had no idea what was gonna happen. I didn't think anything was gonna happen. I just liked socks, and someone was so kind as to bring me some socks. This is what happened to me. I could walk back and forth for the first time. I got strength enough to speak. Not only that, to yell into the basement, and my hands warmed up, and of course my feet warmed up too, okay? So that happened, and then my husband is like running up and down the stairs yelling, is it the socks? Could it be the socks? I feel good, okay? And he has like this cute accent. Oh, that I guess is a side thing, but I just loved it. And so I just was like, whoa. And so I walked back and forth a couple times more. And to be honest, I actually, the next day I was kind of like, whew, I feel kind of tired because of all that exercise, because it was like, I just couldn't stop, like, doing things. Like, I did probably a year's worth of movement compared to what I had done in the past year just in that one day, because I could. How does that happen? I'm like all sniffly. How does that happen? I looked these things up. I have scoured, like, all I did was like scour the internet. Boy, did I research after that, I tell ya. But that night, oh, this is something else about me. I have chronic and complex and severe post-traumatic stress disorder, which basically means really bad stuff happened when I was young, and like really, really bad. And I have struggled with those memories, and they have affected me tremendously. It's hard to even describe. Last May, when I put these socks on, I was on numerous medications just to try and knock me out at night so I could sleep without nightmares, and for more than a couple hours at a time was the goal. That was the goal, and it never happened properly. I couldn't. It didn't. I would have nightmares within 5 minutes. Like, not a normal sleep cycle at all. I was, I've been hospitalized for having really awful thoughts, thinking I just could not go on, and flashbacks are they are a thing. Okay, like, they are really a thing, and they are an overwhelming thing. You can't help them. They are not a controllable thing. It's just like trying not to dream if you're asleep and having nightmares. They're equal, okay? You can't do something about it. You can't. And so I was on all these medications for sleep at night. They weren't working. I mean, they helped. That's why I was on so many of them. I'd tried so many different ones, and I was on 4 at that time last year. It was, and one of them, it was maximum human dose. And I'm not gigantic. I'm quite a short person, and and for me to be taking the same amount as like the biggest person that there is, that's quite, I mean, it should have knocked out anybody, So I was on multiple medications, and now today, well, let me tell you, that first night, and since, first of all, I have experienced pain my whole life. I don't know if I have ever not experienced pain in my life. Apparently I was born crying. People say, oh, you're that baby that cried all the time. Yeah. I remember just pain when I was little. I've always struggled with that. And the pain just muted. And it's just continually gone down in the last year and a half. A lot of it was like, just calmed. And then it's just continued to drop. It's hard to describe. I thought it was like as good as it could get. And it's just, I'm just experiencing more wellness and less pain all the time.